for all you vets who've been around for 25 years, you know, I got into it. Tom Hopkins, right? You guys know Tom Hopkins? Is anybody in here? Tom Hopkins was like the greatest real estate sales trainer ever. And I used to drive around 465 and listen to his tapes on how to master the art of selling and listing real estate. The market's totally changed. It's different, you know. Those tapes, I think, still work. The sales techniques work. But I became a master of how to list and sell real estate, old school wise. And that was just invaluable training, and was so grateful for that. And the bottom line is we're all professionals, and as I train, which I do, my goal is to have my students be able to walk in front of a buyer or a seller, and that buyer and seller really have no chance to say no to you. And you know, the greatest thing that I've been able to do and continue to do is really sniff out who are the people that are ready to make a decision in 30 days and only work with them, you know? And that comes down to your numbers. It's like, who are you spending time with? Some of us will spend a year and become a part of a person's family who never buys a home. And it's crazy to me, which is fine, because we all need friends. But we are business people, right? Some of us more than others. But so the bottom line is I was able to look at it as a business. I trained myself to make sure that I understood the business and how to work with buyers and sellers. And there is a system, there is a way that the secret of market dominance, I love this, I heard this from an internet guy. The secret to market dominance is the ability to meet a person and then go to a closing table in a shorter amount of time. And not that we're pushing people or pulling people to go to a closing, but when you look at the guys that are doing 100 to 200 transactions, they're not wasting time with people. And once you get that reputation and people start coming to you and saying, I want to buy and sell for real, and I don't want this to take long. I mean, I've never had a seller walk up and say, Glenn, I really want to spend the next 6 months with you marketing my property together, right? We want to get it sold. Once you can get to that level, it's a great business. So that's what we did.
So my marketing plan was really, I'm going to go back to open houses because that is really how I started my business. I decided that I really had to get out there every weekend, and I did 2 open houses on a Sunday, and really just meet people. And I concentrated, because again, I didn't have any marketing money, I didn't have any real estate experience. I really concentrated on the first-time home buyer market, and I felt like if I concentrated on that market, I know more than they do in the beginning when I was starting. They were young, I was building my future business, which is where I am now. They would be purchasing in 5 to 7 years, and they have referrals, so I've had plenty of young referrals. And so that's what I did. I really just concentrated on that. And I felt like I was really successful in picking up the first-time home buyers. And when I say that, I mean, a first-time home buyer for me could be even $230,000, $240,000. It wasn't just $100,000. I mean, it was a little bit higher. So then when I was able to sell those homes, you know, 5 to 7 years later, which I'm doing now, really has just helped my business. And I felt like I could guide them, and when I did pick up the first-time home buyers, I would guide them to the home that I wanted to be able to sell in 5 to 7 years, not just sell a home, but be able to really pick up a market for me later on. And that's what I've done. And I do open house training for Tucker and work with the new agents there, and I've had a lot of good feedback on just getting out in the market and being there. It's the only time that buyers really actually come to you, and you try to focus on, like Glenn said, the buyers who are ready to buy, and spend your time with them. But I think that my business has been successful because of that, because of the referrals. I don't today do as many open houses as I did before, but if I was out there on a Sunday, I went out for 2 open houses every Sunday. And I was lucky enough that I didn't have small children. My daughter's, 28 now, so I didn't have to worry about not being home with the family. My husband has his own business. So we just knew we were working the weekends. So that's what I did to build my business. And I think today it was a very inexpensive way to get into the market. When I did those open houses and the first-time home buyers, I was constantly working. I always had deals that were going on, and so it gave me a really good education of going through appraisals and inspections and closings, and it just kept me busy and really gave me a thirst for closing the transactions and picking up business. So that's really what I concentrated on.
Okay, think about yourself right now. What are your weaknesses? Like 2 or 3 real weaknesses. Not that you are addicted to coffee, because that's a strength in my book. But what are your weaknesses? And we all have them. Like maybe you're bad with details. Maybe paperwork is not your favorite thing to take care of. So what are they in your business life? And maybe your family life too. And what are you doing to address those so that your life and your business are smooth?
You know, in terms of the weaknesses, I think patience probably for me. I don't always have a lot of patience. Sounds like Glenn might be in the same boat. Yeah, it is a good boat. It floats. So patience for me, and I find myself struggling with that. Some of the details I'm more focused on. I get very focused on the big picture. Like let's get the deal put together. Let's figure out what we need. And sometimes I take a step back. So here we need some hand holding here, and the details need to be taken care of. So those are 2 specific things that I'm working on.
And how do you do that?
Well, really just being aware of it. That's it. And realizing that it's not always about my timetable. It's oftentimes about somebody else's.
So, my weakness is I never focus on my weakness, I guess, So, somebody once told me, don't focus on what you did wrong at the listing, focus on what you did right. Keep focusing and doing what you did right. So I appreciate your question, but I'm not going to avoid it. My biggest weakness is I don't focus on my weaknesses or deal with it. I focus on my strengths and only make them stronger. And I don't know, that's just how I roll, right? But obviously we all have weaknesses, and mine is, I'm addicted to my smartphone. I love my smartphone all the time. Like, do you guys hear me in here? Right? It's crazy. It's like, we have spouses, and you're like this, and people you care about, and it's this business, if you're doing a lot of transactions, my biggest weakness may be that I feel like I have to respond to incoming calls, leads, and my clients within 5 minutes. That's the standard I set for myself, but that allows me to sell a whole lot of homes. And to be able to really say, I'm not going to do that, is tough. I want to give a shout out to Jay O'Neill in the back room. I got in real estate, 23 years ago. Jay, what were you in it for 15 years at that point? I'm just kidding.
Not quite.
And I always looked up to Jay as a very young agent. I tried to steal a builder from him 23 years ago. It wasn't happening. Frank Cosmas, you're probably still working with him, right?
Frank's still around, yeah.
Adam, man. So anyway, kudos to you. Hi, it's great to be with this guy.